Good morning, everybody. Of course, my wife's got a lot of stuff going on, and she's been asking people to share their testimony, and I'm not sure how, if you've been in the Christian life, that you can have just one testimony. I look back on the past 10 years, and God has been so good to me on so many occasions. It's just unreal. It's just picking one of them. So today I want to fill you in on probably my latest testimony. How's that sound? We come back from the ministry. I went to work doing heat and air, and I did that for about 2 years. And COVID hit. We made it through that. Everything's going good. Administration changed. Economy kind of faltered. In October of 21, things slowed down really big in our trade, at least in this area. And so from October to February of 22, I went from 5 days a week to 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. And finally, the first week in February, my boss came to me and he told me, he said, listen, he said, I just can't keep doing this. And I said, okay. I said, that's fine. One of the things that I learned, being a 51-year-old male, when I've never had a problem getting a job. I always had a maintenance or installation background. And so I didn't really worry too much about it, So I've stated before that one of the things I've had to do is learn to pray for myself, because to pray for my weaknesses and my dilemmas, and because if you're counting on other people to pray for you, that's great, but are they really praying for you? People say all the time, hey, we're praying for you, I'm praying for you. Are they really praying for you? I pray that they are, but that's not necessarily always the truth. And so in February of 22, I started looking for a job at the age of 51 years old. And I found out that's not as easy as it was when I was 30 years old. I started checking in. I had a local hospital. They wanted me bad to come to work, but they couldn't get the funding available to do it. So I messed around with that for a while. I never could get unemployment started. I got it started, and then I got one check in 4 months. There was always something, a glitch on the website, anyway. So it was almost like every door closed before I could get to it. I grabbed the knob and they'd slam it. I'd checked with a local resort in town. They needed a maintenance man. Come back and talk to me next week when we're back off vacation. Then went back and talked to them. Yeah, we need you. And then when I go back, the guy decided to stay. So it seemed like I just couldn't get ahead on this. And so we're burning through savings. I'm trying to find any job from McDonald's to whatever I could find. I was standing, this was in probably late March, early April. I was standing in the living room, and it smacked me on the forehead pretty hard. Our Facebook page that we used to use for a children's home, there was a story in there, and then it come back on a memory on my Facebook. And it was about a man who had one of the very large square bales of hay fall on him. And people kept trying to pick up the bale of hay. And he kept telling them, just cut the strings. Just cut the strings. If you cut the strings, the whole thing will fall apart and you can get me out of here. And it smacked me like a ton of bricks. Saturday morning, 10 a.m., standing in my living room. And I realized at that point, you have not given this problem to God. You've not given it to God. Why are you worrying about this and worrying yourself sick when you've not given it to the person who can take care of this? And so I stood there with my arms up in the living room looking out our big picture window and said, God, I give this to you. I don't know why I've been wrestling with this. Why I have not given it to you. I give it to you now. And I went on and started my day. So about 5:15 that night, I get a phone call from a guy on our fire department. And I was hung up doing something, and I thought, I'll call him back later. No big deal. And so the next morning, I listened to his voicemail. And he said, Brett, he said, I'm on the board of a local housing authority. And he said, we've got a maintenance position that has just opened up. And he said, I think you'd be perfect for the job. And I went that next Monday, I applied within a week, was hired, and I've been here 2 years. Now, if that's not God, folks, I don't know what to tell you. It hadn't been 7 hours after I gave it to him that the response was in my voicemail. So it's all him. Number one, give it to God. You've got to give him these problems. If you don't, you're struggling trying to solve them. If you can solve them, if you can't, it's because you have not given them to God. And so I just wanted to put this little video together and pass it on. I hope it's inspirational to somebody. But he can do anything. He can do anything. And I mean, just that quick. That's all it took, was me holding up my hands and giving it to him. And within 7 hours, I had an answer, and I had a job that I've pretty much excelled at. I've been here almost 2 years and already had a pretty good sized promotion. And so I just want to tell you, folks, give it to him. Let him handle it. He ain't going to wrestle with it. He going to fix it. Okay? So y'all have a good day. Thanks.